a ticket and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions. This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll go for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome into the show. Happy Thursday. This is the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Nick and Rico joining you as usual. Rico, hello.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going great.
You excited?
I'm very excited.
So we kind of talked about this a little bit yesterday. The 4-star recruits that eventually signed with Nebraska, only 3 of the 67 got drafted. Well, props to Rico here, because this morning Rico did a deep dive on every single one of those 67.
I did.
And broke it down a little bit more specific to where, hey, did they finish their career at Nebraska? Because technically, if it shouldn't count if they did not finish their career at Nebraska.
No, but the numbers are also alarming for the amount that
Yes.
didn't finish their careers at Nebraska.
There's that. They're also alarming still for the ones that did finish their career
Yes.
at Nebraska. So, as usual, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line, both those open for you guys the entire show today. Or you can join us on the Starter Heyman Jewelers video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. If you have Allo, channel 951, we're still getting used to it. So we got cable in the studios.
That's
now,
us on the TV.
and we are on TV. And so if I just look up and to the left, Rico, if you look up and to the left.
Right.
Up and to the left.
Well,
To the TV
that
behind
one's
me.
Not on.
Oh, it was this morning. I
know
apologize.
it is not
It
anymore.
was this morning. Up and to the right for you, behind you.
Yeah.
We see ourselves.
Damn, I like it.
And we're just gonna have to be more cautious of how we look, how presentable we are.
I'm getting lined up today.
Really?
I am.
Big haircut day. I
Just line up.
I sent out the tweet the other day. Haircut day is best day.
Well, haircut day led to preparation day.
Yes. Haircut day led to preparation day. So once again, number 402-464-5685. Tomorrow. Well, okay, so let's go this first. Today, here at 4:00 or shortly after, we're going to speak to Matt Rule. Matt Rule will be available to the media and a couple players for one final time before the spring game commences on Saturday. And by the way, we will be at Tipsy Tina's on Saturday, 10:30 a.m. We will begin the pregame show festivities. And so make sure you come out there, enjoy some breakfast tacos, enjoy some lunch tacos.
Dude, those breakfast tacos at Tipsy Tina's are otherworldly.
Margaritas, Mai Tais, whatever you desire. Tipsy Tina's has them before the spring game.
Get some top shelf tequila. I won't, but you can.
Yeah, I can't do the
If
tequila.
I take a shot of tequila, my day's over. My night's
just
over.
that quick.
It's not that I got drunk. It's just that the taste just stays in my mouth, and I can't. Maybe I'm just not drinking high enough quality tequila, but I just not a fan.
Somebody asked, Notorious B.I.B. asked, do you guys think Scott Frost will be here for the spring game? Will Scott Frost watch the spring game?
Yes. Will he be here? See,
He will not be here.
Why? But Frank's being honored.
Is that the special surprise? Is that the second biggest announcement?
Scott Frost.
Man, talk about awkward.
I think if he does
any bit of awkwardness between Matt Rule and Scott Frost.
No, they're friends. Rule said it.
Yeah, well, I can say I'm friends with my enemies too.
If Frost shows up, he is keeping the lowest of low profiles.
That's why I don't think he shows up. No way. but he watches.
He's got a hat covering his face. He's walking around not wanting to make eye contact with anybody. If they honor Frank
Just
and the players
like
are
when
down
he
on
was
the...
that.
Damn it. If they're honoring Frank on the field and the players
You
are
gotta
down
look
there,
to the past to look to the future.
players are down there as well, he won't be down there.
He will. No, he is not showing up. I could answer my own question. He is not showing up. But
That says like Jay's disguise.
never forget when we set out the mission to find Jay. I saw Jay Foreman down in. So the funny story about Jay. Jay was down in Norman, Oklahoma in 2019 or 2021. It would have been when I went down there for the Nebraska Oklahoma game. And that was back like Jay was obviously a part of the station. Didn't know Jay as well as I do now. And it was definitely one of those things where it's like, do I go say hi to him or do I just like,
well,
give
you
him
said
the
you made
nod?
eye contact.
Gave the eye contact. Jay. So we made eye contact. Jay smiled and we just went our separate ways. That was it. That was
like,
all
I
it
am
was.
not going to talk about this.
We are not going to see each other. We do not need to talk. We don't need to see how the trip was. But anyway, so that was funny though. Thomas and Lincoln says, so what I'm hearing is now that with cable, you guys can't watch baseball, and Nick, you can't watch your very bad Cubs. You must be confused, Thomas, because the Cubs are in second place of the NL Central, where the Cardinals still have a losing record, by the way. Now, DP has reminded me multiple times that titles are not given in April, and I understand that. But I sit here on April 20th.
Shout out 420.
Shout out to 420, I guess. And say, at least we're not 1-12 at home. Like the Kansas City Royals.
That is true.
So
complete opposite end of the spectrum. Tampa Bay is 10-0 at home.
That's right. Tampa Bay is good. But so are the Cubs. I just want to talk about
Yankees.
that. The Yankees are good as well.
Tied for second in the AL East.
So, all right, let's Rico, you want to dive into these numbers here?
Do you want to dive into it now, or do you want to hit it in the next? Do you want to take a sip and Jake, and then hit it in the long segment?
Yeah, because I'll have to go, skedaddle to class.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and take a sip and Jake.
Yep.
A little bit of an early break. I wish I would have grabbed the audio of Dylan Brooks.
He's old
because Dylan Brooks comes out and says LeBron James is old.
I don't respect anybody until they put 40 on my head. I'm like, so you don't respect
whatever the over under is for LeBron James points total on the next game. Hammer the over, and LeBron's going for 55
and hammer the Lakers winning.
LeBron's going for 50.
And if there's a prop bet for LeBron James stare down, hammer that.
Does LeBron James put Dylan Brooks on a poster?
LeBron doesn't put many people on posters anymore. He's careful with his body.
He might try to this time.
He'll attempt it.
Okay. Careful with his body. No, he's old.
He is old. That's true. That's the only part I'll agree. He is old.
Yes or no on a sarcastic comment from LeBron after the game?
Hard yes.
Yeah, seems like you still can teach an old dog new tricks.
Hard yes. Something like that. Something cheesy as hell.
It's going to be so stupid.
Something cheesy as hell.
So stupid.
Dad jokes galore.
Yeah. See, it looks like I got still a little juice left in the tank. All right, let's get to break. When we come back, we talk about these 4-star recruits that signed to Nebraska. Unfortunately, not a good number, not a good list, but we're going to still talk about it, still unpack it, as we kind of briefly mentioned it yesterday on how 3 of the 67 4-stars that Nebraska has signed in the last, or since 2009, I suppose, in the last 11 years, which is a little bit, isn't as long ago as 2009, but Rico went back to 2009, so that's okay. But in the last 11 years, 3 of them have been drafted. So we'll talk about it, as those 3 are Matt Farniok, Cam Jurgens, and Damian Stafford. And so we'll dive into this list and bring up some nostalgic names, because as I'm going through some of these 2010, 2012 teams,
it's fun.
It's fun to think about where these guys transferred off to as well, and the exciting kind of thoughts that were swirling around them when they came to Nebraska. So we'll dive deeper into that when we come up next here after we take a quick break. You're listening to the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, ticketfm.com.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back.
Sure. Sutter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SutterHeyman.com.
Tailored Life is now open in Bennett. Make the short drive down Highway 2 for tons of items for your home, for both indoors and outdoors. Check out their variety of potted trees, shrubs, vines, perennials, and colorful annuals. Plus, porch pots and landscape lighting to enhance the outside of your home. Don't forget their home goods for indoors, plus convenient drinks and snacks, most which are produced locally. Visit Tailored Life today in Bennett and stay tuned to their Facebook page at Tailored Life 360 for food truck events coming up.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates, with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Windy and much cooler here for our Thursday. We'll see a high of around 60, but northwest winds will gust over 30 through the day, and we could see some scattered showers develop later this afternoon. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 36, windy and even cooler tomorrow. Northwest winds gusting near 40 with a high of 55. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Babe, pack your bags. We're going to Vegas.
Vegas?
We just got the estimate from the wedding caterer, and we're going to have to elope.
Actually, Members Owned Credit Union is offering no-fee home equity lines of credit. We can borrow what we need with equity from the house.
Wait, so we can keep the bacon-wrapped dates for the cocktail hour?
We can keep the bacon-wrapped dates. From wedding bells to trekking the globe and everything in between, capture your dreams your way with a no-fee Members Owned Credit Union home equity line of credit. Learn more at membersownedheloc.org. Limitations may apply. Equal housing lender.
This is Jay Foreman. I wore gear to protect my health on the football field, and I'm protecting it now by staying up to date with the bivalent COVID vaccine. Get up to date while it's still free and stay protected. Learn more at healthylincoln.org.
There's never been a better time to earn more on your checking account. Open a free Kasasa Cash checking account with Liberty First Credit Union and earn up to 5.5% APY for up to $40,000. It's simple. Open your Kasasa Cash checking account online or stop into any of the 4 Lincoln locations or Seward and Omaha branches. Liberty First makes switching easy, and Kasasa checking is always free. See libertyfirstcu.com for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose.
Tipsy Tina's Taco Cantina is the talk of the Haymarket, and for good reason. Grab a breakfast taco on a game day morning or stop by for lunch or dinner for their huge variety of street taco options. They have everything from carne asada chorizo tacos to shrimp or fish tacos, buffalo chicken, and more. Plus, they have more than 140 different tequilas and tons of other beer or mixed drink options. There's truly something for everyone. Make plans to stop by for any meal of the day at Tipsy Tina's Taco Cantina, 8th and Q in the Haymarket. Attention all Wings fans. 89-cent wings are back on Tuesdays at Buffalo Wings and Rings in Lincoln. Enjoy the best wings in town for boneless or traditional at a price that makes the whole family happy. And now at the Williamsburg Village Wings and Rings, you can enjoy $1.50 tall boys in Bud Light, Coors Light, Busch, Michelob Ultra every day after 7 p.m. and all day on Sundays. Get to Wings and Rings today and make sure to stop by on Tuesdays for 89-cent wings.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert.
I don't believe you people.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people?
Huh? Sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's a sad day because all of the blue check marks on Twitter are gone.
Rip.
I never had one.
We lost our blue check.
The good news is that Nathan no longer has one.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
That was the most annoying times.
That dude thought he was so cool. Yeah, I got a blue check. I'm verified. You verified because you work at a news station. Get out of here. Nobody wants to listen to your opinions.
Mr. Brennan's going to be back in town this weekend. Just can't stay away from the spring
I
game.
was so close to in the group chat when he kept saying, "I'm going to be there, boys. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that." I was so close to just be like, "Dude, no one cares."
We still have a group chat. We do still have a group chat with a couple of us.
Now. We do care. He is a friend of ours. But I just want to be like, because nobody else was responding. I just want to be like, dude, no one cares.
It would have been funny. I would have been about it. I probably would have. That would probably warranted a liked message from me. But anyway, okay, let's dive into this, Rico.
Okay,
I'm just gonna let you take it because this is your thing. So just take it away, my man.
There's an athletic article going around that says, as we kind of mentioned, 67 four-star recruits for Nebraska since 2009. Only 3 of them have been drafted into the NFL, and people are taking that as, a lack of development and just bad recruiting for Nebraska. But I was talking with Bill Bush and Sipple and Jake earlier today when I came into work because they were talking about it today. And Bill asked a question. He said, well, how many of those guys even stayed here? How many of those guys finished their careers here? Because if it's a lack of development, they would have had to have been here all 4 years to be developed or to see a lack of development. So I went through and I looked at, since 2009 to 2019, the 4-star recruits in those classes and how many of them stayed at Nebraska for 4 years, how many finished their careers in Nebraska, and how many ended up leaving, who got drafted, and who was an undrafted free agent. So before we go through the names, I'll just read you the numbers really fast. So 67 recruits, right? Since 2009 to 2019, 67 4-star recruits for Nebraska. 33 of those players didn't finish their careers at Nebraska. Now, that also takes into account players who played 4 years, had an extra year, and ended up transferring out, like an Adrian Martinez, and there was about two other players, I think offensive linemen, who played 4 years, had an extra year after a red shirt, and ended up transferring out. 27 of those 33 players who didn't finish their careers in Nebraska were transfers. 11 players from those 67, quote-unquote, made the NFL. 3 were drafted, and the others were undrafted free agents who played varying amounts of time. So again, 67 recruits, 33 didn't finish, 27 transferred, 11 made the NFL, and 3 were drafted. Yeah. So, and also I found this out. So from 2009 to 2019, that's how many classes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever.
11?
Yeah. 11 classes, 10 classes, whatever it is. 10 classes.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10 classes.
11 classes.
7 of the top ranked recruits. There were no 5 stars in those. Whatever. Math is hard. 7.
This took me. Go ahead.
I know it took me way too long to figure that out.
It took me back to the. I'm really bad with math numbers, but if you give me sport,
10, that's 10 classes.
Rico goes. If you give me sport numbers, I'm good with those.
I got you. Okay. Anyways,
yes.
7 of the top ranked recruits in those classes, because there were no 5 stars, did not finish their careers at Nebraska.
There you go.
Which is an alarming number, because that is the player that you either spent a lot of time and resources on, or was just, the highest ranked player that you could nab out of that class at the time. And still, that's your prized recruit because they're the best recruit that you got out of the class. 7 of them didn't finish at Nebraska.
Well, what's crazy, I mean, you look through some of these names and you had, so there was a lot of promise and expectation, and I'm waiting for like texters like Wet Blanket to come out of the dust to tell us he's right and things like that, because you had so many of these guys that came in with so much excitement and promise, just like we do today, and unfortunately just never pan out. And so through the conversations with various coaches and with various media, we've come to like this consensus that a lot of this is evaluation, issues with evaluation. And that's both on the field play and how they are off the field as well. And so it's interesting because you hear so many of these good stories of, oh, this guy was a 2-star, now he's a top 20 pick in the draft. Oh, this guy was a 3-star, now he's going 5th overall. Like, you hear so many of these stories year after year, and part of that, I think, is yes, it's development once you get there, but I think also part of it's evaluation. And what Rico's list has now shown is something I said yesterday on the drive with AD and Raf, is this isn't specifically just like obviously we're going to bring up examples of like 2019 and 2020. This is not just a Scott Frost issue. Like, this has been the Nebraska issue, and why when Raf and I were talking this morning about like, what's the best memory that I can think of? And it's not necessarily a game. It's like specific plays. It's Jamal Turner catching an out route in the end zone at Michigan State. It's DeMornay Pearsonell and his kickoff returns or special teams impact. It's Amir Abdullah putting the team on his back against McNeese State. Like, obviously the Hail Mary throws is up there as well. But like, it's not a, oh yeah, the Big Ten championship, or oh yeah, the Big 12 title game.
Oh yeah, the Fiesta Bowl,
like,
or
okay,
the Orange
fine.
Bowl.
Like the first half of the 2010 Big 12 title game when Nebraska played against Oklahoma and they were up 17-3 at half. Okay, there's a first half.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I mean, Nebraska's unfortunately been losing games to Georgia Southern, and that eventually is what did Scott Frost in finally. But once again, as we kind of talked about, this is definitely like an evaluation issue that I don't know if it's at the core or what needs to happen, but hopefully Matt Rule and his staff can figure out a way to right the ship a little bit.
And I mean, if you think about the amount of guys who transferred, like I said, 27 transfers, this is a lot of the transfers happened, during the portal era, obviously, but a lot of these happened before the transfer portal was a thing. Now, transferring obviously was still a thing that was happening because you can tell by these numbers, but there wasn't a portal. So when everybody says, oh, the portal is ruining college football, no, this was happening way before the portal even came into existence. The portal just allows names to be more readily available to coaches and coaching staffs, and it allows for players to not have to sit out a year. So if you think about it, these guys transferring earlier on in Nebraska's history, or since 2009, they had to sit out a year, and they were still more than willing to sit out a year than to stay at Nebraska because something wasn't going their way. So if I just go through the transfers, right? So if we start in 2009, I'm just going to go through the transfers. Cody Green, a dual threat quarterback, we all remember Cody Green, transferred to Tulsa in 2012.
Yep.
Chris Williams, a linebacker, transferred to McMurray in 2011. 2010, Braylon Hurd. We remember Braylon Hurd.
I do. Transferred
to Kentucky in 2013. That same class, Chase Rome transferred to Memphis in 2013. He was a defensive tackle. And look, if you guys have some of these names that you remember, if you have good memories about them or whatever, 402-464-5685. Tell us if you remember, because I don't remember Chase Rome. I do remember Braylon Hurd, though. 2011. This one, this is the first, like, a lot of people in this class ended up dipping. Aaron Green. And so Cody Green, Braylon Hurd were your number one recruits in those classes. Aaron Green, the best recruit in that class, transferred to TCU in 2012. Bubba Starling, quarterback, never made it to Nebraska, still counts, as he was drafted in the first round by the Kansas City Royals. Tyler Moore, offensive tackle, transferred to Florida in 2013. Todd Pete, a defensive tackle, transferred to Eastern Arizona College in 2013. Ryan Reeves, medically retired. So this is one of the first ones. Ryan Reeves, medically retired after the Foster Farms Bowl in 2016. If you remember, in that game, he played 3 series and then broke his leg.
Yeah.
3 weeks later, I believe, maybe 3 weeks later, he medically retired. He's like, I'm done with football. Ryan Klatchko transferred to Illinois in 2012 and then medically retired at Illinois because he had too many concussions.
Not to interrupt you.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
So Chase B says on the text line, come on, you're telling me Miami 2014 wasn't a good memory for the whole game. It was, but like, it was. Amir Abdullah goes, I think, for 229 rushing yards and like 4 or 2 TDs. I think Armstrong Tommy had a pretty good game. But like, also that was a Miami team that finished 6-7. It wasn't like, yes, for nostalgia's sake, it was great because it was like, Nebraska finally, we're getting that rivalry. Nebraska's going to go to Miami the following year, but they're coming here for a primetime game. Yeah, it was it was a good memory, but I mean, hindsight being 2020, I understand it was a win over Miami and you felt good, but it was 6 and 7. I want to look it up, make sure I'm right.
Well, it's like
so they were 6 and 7, and under Al Golden, they were 6 and 7 that year under in 2014, and they lost to Nebraska 41-31 that game. The wins for Miami that year: Florida A&M, Arkansas State, Duke, Cincinnati, Virginia Tech, and Pitt.
Oof.
So it's
not
like
a great Miami
like
team.
there's no, unfortunately, when you another good one would be like for 3 quarters the Nebraska Michigan game but how did it end? Adrian Martinez fumbled it. Like that, like that's just, it's nothing against the players specifically. It's just over the last 13 years, it's just been tough.
That Miami game reminds me of the Oregon game at Memorial, where Tommy had the big run to kind of win it.
100%.
It felt great at the time, great memory, but then you look back at it, that Oregon team wasn't very good.
Well, it's because you're also saying, oh, yes, Nebraska's beating this
a top
team.
25 team.
Yeah, and at that time, they were ranked top 25. And that's great. But unfortunately, it's like, what did that do for the program, right? You want to talk about, you want to be able to look back and see what wins kind of helped out the program in my eyes. And unfortunately, the 2014 win against Miami didn't really do a whole lot for me. Ohio State was 08, I believe. So, I mean, I suppose the biggest comeback in school history, Ohio State was a good one.
That was a pretty good one.
That was against the Luke Fickell Ohio State team, though. Don't forget that.
Backup quarterback.
Joe Bowserman. It was a great win. I'm not trying to take anything away from it, but what did it do for the program? What has it done for the program?
Made you feel good, and then nothing.
So
if we're just okay, so I'm just gonna find the 3 that 2011 Damian Stafford was drafted by Tennessee in the 7th round of the 2013 draft. Randy Gregory was in the 2013 class. Arizona Western College transfer to Nebraska, and then a 2nd round draft pick in the NFL. And then where's the last one? Actually, there's another one. So Matt Farniok, 5 years in Nebraska, 7th round draft pick in the NFL. And then Cam Jurgens, the 2018 class, was a tight end, remember, moved to center, 4 years in Nebraska, 2nd round draft pick in the NFL. So it's actually 4 NFL draft picks for Nebraska in that time. Still not great, but there are so many people who ended up transferring out of Nebraska during those times that it's just, I just don't understand really how people can go. I mean, I understand the development portion of it, but when you look at numbers like this and you try to, say 67 recruits, only 3-4 drafted, but then you don't look at the nuance of, 33 of those players didn't finish their careers at Nebraska. Is that on Nebraska for a lack of development, or is that on the coaches for not recruiting the best players or putting them in a position to stay at Nebraska to succeed?
So under the 67 number, not taking into account what Rico did, where it was, I mean, you worried about transfers and things like that. It was basically if they signed, did they get drafted? Nebraska was the worst statistic, or was the worst team when it came to getting 4 stars drafted, and at 4.5%. Well, you take into account, okay, so you take into account now Rico's research, and that leaves 34 that state that was at Nebraska the entire time. 3 still got drafted, right? That is good for 8.8%. Where does that put Nebraska? Still worst. The second worst is Tennessee at 9.5% of their 4-star players were drafted. So that's not including the transfers. I'm not including that stuff. 9.5%. Nebraska, not including transfers, was worst at 4.5% of their players. And now, including the transfers, taking that into account, Nebraska's still the worst. At 8.8, unfortunately. And so it's just, once again, it might be that evaluation problem. And it is what it is. Jesse the Plumber asks how many of those transfers made the NFL. You could go through. I didn't do that. You could go through. So like Wan'Dale Robinson is the first one. I mean, we can do this real quickly here. Wan'Dale Robinson is one. Let's see. Tyrod Darian Daniels is on a practice squad.
Johnny Stanton.
Johnny Stanton was with the Browns.
He was a quarterback when he got to Nebraska, transferred to UNLV, became a fullback. Now he's in the NFL. Neither of those guys. No. Avery Roberts might get drafted this year.
Yeah, so honestly,
not great.
Wan'Dale Robinson's the only one.
Yes,
and he's the
only one.
I don't know where Wan'Dale goes if he stays in Nebraska. Where he goes in the draft.
I don't think he's drafted. I
think
it's another.
That's scary.
That's another undrafted free agent.
Maybe. And so it is what it is.
Which Nebraska has a decent amount of those, but even then, it's still not great.
Like Nebraska has a good amount of draft picks. We're not trying to take that away from them.
Just from 2009 to now, there haven't been a lot.
It's specifically just 4 stars, though.
Yeah, just 4 stars.
So once again, it's that evaluation, I suppose. Let's go ahead and take our final timeout. When we come back, Austin and Strick will join Rico for the crossover. We'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow as we wrap up the week. Once again, Matt Rule will talk to us at 4. We get to hear a little bit from Frank Solich as well tomorrow. So all that will be for you right here on 93.7 The Ticket. But stick around. Crossover coming up next.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the happy hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln. Always honest answers.
This is Jay Foreman. When I played football for Nebraska and in the NFL, I wore protective gear to safeguard my health. Today, I'm not only protecting my health, but everyone in our community by staying up to date with the bivalent COVID vaccine. Update your protection with the bivalent COVID vaccine while it's still free. Find out more at healthylincoln.org. That's healthylincoln.org.
It's springtime, and you know what that means. It's sandal season at Brown Shoe Fit. To celebrate the start of the season, we're offering $10 off sandals under $105 and $15 off sandals $110 or more, now through May 14th. Enjoy brands like Atrex, Teva, Clarks, Tau, Keen, and many more on sale now. This deal won't last long, so come on down to Brown Shoe Fit for our spring sandal sale. Some exclusions may apply. See store for details. Brown Shoe Fit Lincoln, 66 NQ.
The Empire brand is growing with ESC fabrication and sandblasting. ESC is your place for custom handrails, industrial and commercial painting, and more. ESC provides custom welding for aluminum and stainless steel and media blasting of all sorts. ESC is great attention to detail. They stick to deadlines and keep within your budget. If you can dream it, they can make it. Contact ESC Fabrication and Sandblasting in Waverly today at 531-207-9329. You've driven by GE Landscape Supply countless times, likely without even knowing, at 6701 Cornhusker Highway. But now it's time to stop in. GE Landscape Supply sells to homeowners and contractors with a vast selection of landscaping and construction material. They sell in bulk to save you money, buying anything from a 5-gallon bucket to a semi-load. They deliver anywhere, and if you mention you heard this ad on 93.7 The Ticket, they'll deliver in town for free through the month of April with some restrictions applying. Go to GELandscapeSupply.com for more info or call 402-467-1627. Tailored Life is now open in Bennett. Make the short drive down Highway 2 for tons of items for your home, for both indoors and outdoors. Check out their variety of potted trees, shrubs, vines, perennials, and colorful annuals. Plus, porch pots and landscape lighting to enhance the outside of your home. Don't forget their home goods for indoors, plus convenient drinks and snacks, most which are produced locally. Visit Tailored Life today in Bennett and stay tuned to their Facebook page at Tailored Life 360 for food truck events coming up.
Looking for a solid, stable career in assembly, CNC machining, or injection molding? We got you covered. Hi, Bob Williams, HR Director for Garner Industries, a world-class manufacturer with a 70-year history right here in Lincoln. And I just listed some great career opportunities that you can find by logging into GarnerIndustries.com. If you want top pay, excellent fits, flexible work hours, and the opportunity to work in a clean, modern, air-conditioned facility with great people, contact me today by applying online at GardnerIndustries.com.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln by offering a number of services. From group homes for special needs adults to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the intellectual and developmental disability services your loved one needs to live a fulfilling life. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a more rewarding career, learn more about available positions. Learn more about services for your loved ones or employment today at ilc.net. Integrated Services.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
937 The Ticket. 5 FXL weather. Brought to you by Brian Fishing Heating Electric.
Windy and much cooler here for our Thursday. We'll see a high of around 60, but northwest winds will gust over 30 through the day, and we could see some scattered showers develop later this afternoon. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 36. Windy and even cooler tomorrow. Northwest winds gusting near 40 with a high of 55. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary.
When I gave you the cookie, I heard very clearly, I don't think about you, Schmidt.
Why would I think about you?
Because we're friends. We're not animals.
We're men. The only time a man is allowed to think about another man is when that man is Cutler.
On 97 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to the Happy Hour here on 93.7 The Ticket and Channel 951 for your Allo Cable subscribers. We're on the TV. Look at that. Look at that, Strick. We're on TV.
Oh, wow.
That's us. That's us. Mama, we made it. Granted, you made it before, but fine. This is me and Austin
Some of us
making
made
it.
it.
Yeah, this is me and Austin making it. Mama, we made it.
Cut off a little bit.
Nick Sainert has decided to go to class and learn him some knowledge or whatever he's doing. I don't know if he's actually. See, the thing is, I don't know if he's actually going to class. I don't know. He could just be strolling around.
Aha!
He could have said, I got class. He could have. That class could have ended last week for all we know.
He might have graduated last year.
Who knows?
Aha!
He's faking all those papers.
Something. You might be onto something.
He's playing the long game. It's a long con. How dare you, Nicholas?
I guess you can con as long. DP might be onto something.
How dare you, Nicholas?
You didn't. Snitches get stitches.
Look, I don't know. I'm guessing.
You know what?
Theorizing.
Rico just told on his boy.
I didn't tell him.
The one thing
it's
I
a
can
theory.
tell you is that
it's a theory.
My boy Austin would never snitch on Stricky. Yep.
I'm not snitching. I don't know what the truth is.
I'm just man.
I would never, Strick.
I know you wouldn't.
Call me a
but I know
snitch.
what you did do.
What?
You set up something that your boy ain't gonna be able to get out of.
Yeah. So for anybody that's been listening to 93.7 The Ticket for a while, Rashawn Jackson, the captain, has said that he's going to run a 400, and he thinks he can run it faster than Nick did, which is 85 seconds, a minute 25, a 400-meter dash. He thinks he can run it faster. He's been trying to get his way out of it this week, but he said today, and we have it on record in the podcast, everything, that he's going to run it this Saturday at 9 a.m.
Oh, boy.
That's what he said.
You got stuff going on Saturday.
I know. Well, he said he'll have an hour to rest and relax and be ready for our pregame show at Tipsy Tina's. It starts at 10:30, 9 a.m. And he said that we need a track. He's like, where are we going to do? What are we going to do? And I was like, well, I can go to Lincoln High and I can see if we can get something there. And he said, no. He's like, I'm a Husker. Well, I want to run
Lincoln
on the
High's red.
He's like, I want to run
Omaha
on the
South is red.
He's like, I want to run on the new track. And I was like, okay, let me
Ooh.
see what I can do.
Does he got cleats? Does he got cleats too?
I don't think he has spikes.
No spikes. Yeah.
But whatever. So I DM'd Brenton Emanuel, the assistant track coach for the University of Nebraska. He got back to me and said, yeah, you can use it. We're out of town. Just he told me I had to do a few things, so I got to go take care of some business afterwards. But Rashawn Jackson will be running a 400-meter dash this Saturday on the new University of Nebraska Lincoln track.
If I can get up and make that, I might have to just go watch that.
Are we
I need
filming
video.
this?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
we
need
are.
video.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
We are. I'm gonna see if Mark can get out there at that time, and we're gonna take care of some business. We need a couple people to time it just so we can be
I can be there.
exact. Just so it can be exact. But yeah, that's happening. Rashawn Jackson's 400 taking place 9 a.m. Nebraska's new track, which is just outside the Bob Devaney Sports Complex.
The hater said it would never happen.
I got some things done. You know,
You're a mover and a shaker.
Yeah, I did some stuff. All this happened today. It was a matter of a couple of hours.
Know who we're gonna have on next week? I just got confirmed.
Who?
Good close friend of mine, Chris Crutchfield, University of Omaha.
Nice.
Yeah.
Name
coach,
the
head coach.
most well-known players Chris Crutchfield recruited.
I know one.
I know 2 of them.
I know one.
I'm not gonna be able to name them. You guys go ahead.
Buddy Held.
Buddy Hield and Trey Young.
Yeah.
Trey Yeezy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Oklahoma. He was there.
The next Buddy Hield and Trey Young to University of Omaha.
Hey, listen.
Or just Omaha.
I'm going to be honest. I listen. Crutch is his great charisma.
Mm-hmm.
He's authentic. He has great people by his side. One of them being former Benson Bunny and good friend of mine as well, Kenya Crandall. Another good friend of mine may be popping his head into the window sometime soon. I'm going to see if I can get him on the show too. I'm sure people and the listeners would love to hear from him because he's a tremendous, not only a tremendous talent from the state of Nebraska, played here for a short time before he crossed the border. And then now he's doing wonderful things out in Sacramento. I'm going to reach out to him as well and see if I can get him to come through and holler at us. He needed 50 points to break my record, and
didn't get there.
His name is Andre Woolridge. He should be popping his head in.
So close.
So hopefully, we'll have a good week next week. We'll allow this week to pop off. Some people are already lost in space and beamed up to Scotty because of the day, but we'll make a good week of it next week.
420. Do the thing if you're gonna do the thing, I guess.
Your boy's in town.
You always say your boy. I don't know who you're talking about.
You do know your boy.
Who?
Wiz Khalifa.
I wish that was my boy.
Supposed to be having a concert.
Oh, look at that. Another 420 concert in Lincoln.
Yeah.
It's
unbelievable.
For a state and a city that hates marijuana, they sure do a lot of concerts with heavy marijuana smokers on 420.
I'm talking about
it's tomorrow.
The super. It's tomorrow, but
it's close enough.
The super ones.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
you had
the Supermans of 420.
The guys that
have
nobody
been here.
Nobody will outsmoke them. This is a national this is a holiday for them, and they're here.
Can I tell you guys I'm you know what? Because we're on TV now.
Yeah.
And because we good friends now, and you my boy.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying?
Boy to kid.
So listen, I'm gonna tell you a real Snoop Dogg story.
Family.
If you don't listen to Happy Hour on the Block, you will not get this information anywhere. Okay, back in the day. I was in the league at this time. I was living in California. One of my close friends will not share his name, but one of my close friends, when I tell you anywhere I wanted to go, we could walk into the spot. I'm talking about there's times when we walked up and in his heyday, Wesley Snipes standing outside. And we walk in. Like, this was my guy, right?
Jeez.
We became close friends. I have a kind of a gang story in which he saved me from, which is amazing. That's another time.
It's a different
crossover. One morning we woke up because he came and stayed with me a little bit, and we woke up and he was like, "What you want to do today, Strick?" I said, "Shoot, man, I don't know what's up." He's like, "Let's go out to the hills, and let's go over to Snoop's house." I said, "Word?" He said, "Yeah, we're gonna go over to Snoop. We're gonna catch him in the studio because he got a concert in San Diego. Him in the Dog Pound, and we can go." Word. All right, let's do it. So we go out. At this time, I had some great Vancouver fire.
That's what we'll call it.
Yeah, that's what we'll call it. Some great Vancouver fire. It was called White Widow.
Ooh.
Okay.
That sounds interesting.
So I took my little White Widow. We went out. When we got to Snoop's block, you could not get down the block. He had security like way up the block.
Necessary.
You had to stop.
Okay. Yeah.
What's up? Where you going? Oh, yeah, boom, 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 bop. Boom. Okay. You got clearance. When I tell you we pull up, we walk through the house, go to the back, straight into the studio. Snoop in the studio. He got his own studio.
Mm-hmm.
He in the studio just lacing tracks or doing stuff. You know what I mean? So we pull up, we talk, we holler, straight, what's up? K, what up? I said, yeah, man, I wanted to donate to the cause. He's like, yeah, cuz, that's that White Widow. Yeah, we gonna roll this up. We gonna mix this up. And when I tell you, Snoop rolled up a banger.
A Scooby Dooby.
That was about as round as a fat cigar.
Wow.
And about as long as, if you're on this, about as long as this pen.
So 2 Sharpies.
When I tell 2 Sharpies, and when I tell you, we went in, and by the end of the time I was over with that session, I was curled up on. I'm glad we didn't have Instagram.
Manzo's on
I'm
Jupiter.
glad we didn't have Instagram. We didn't have Facebook Live. I'm so glad. I was curled up like a fetus on his couch, laid up, out of there.
Strick was circling Saturn.
Man, I went through the whole universe and back by the time.
Was Snoop
I
even
was done
feeling
with
it?
Not at all. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Hey, that was a warm up.
Exactly.
They're not even a full warm up.
And then went down, did the concert.
Yep.
Yeah.
And probably did some more down there. On the way, down there, afterwards.
Man, yeah, I had to leave them alone. That ain't my kind. I don't go that hard.
You can never outdo them.
Never. That's why I'm trying to say those 2 types, out of all the places they could have went, Denver goes hard to the paint. Cali's hard. Portland, Seattle, Vancouver,
anywhere.
I mean, New York. Yeah.
It's still.
They could have went over to Amsterdam, but they was where? Lincoln, Nebraska. Come on, somebody.
Why?
Make
Why?
it make sense and make the math make sense to Stricky.
Things you love to see. You know what?
But that was a story. That was a story.
great
I shared
story.
it with you guys.
That was a great story.
Yeah.
I'm gonna clip that story.
Yeah.
I'm gonna post that on the.
That was
on
a
the Twitter.
long time ago.
That was a different Strick.
That was a different Strick. That was Strick when Strick was still kind of
wild.
Yeah, wilding.
Wow.
I'm telling you, thank goodness for no Instagram.
If there is a place like, Denver, San Diego, Seattle out east, is it Florida somewhere? Is it Atlanta?
See, Florida it's not legal. Like Florida, I think you have to have a card.
anyone.
That's not legal here either.
I think you have to have a card. I think you have to have a card in Florida. I would say if any place, you probably would have Florida being top notch.
Could be one of them.
Yeah, one of them.
Well, we were going to go over numbers, but I like that story a lot better. That's going to do it for the happy hour. On the block up next, the gentleman, Austin Strick, will take you through the next 2 hours on the radio dial and channel 951 on Allo. Adios.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk.